In the heart of New York, the legendary Madison Square Garden, home to countless concerts and sporting events, became something entirely different on the evening of July 3rd, 2026. That night, it wasn't an arena anymore. Draped in peach and white, filled with faux trees and real flowers, it was the world's most famous couple's secret garden. The story actually goes back a year, to August 2025. When Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced their engagement with a simple Instagram post, the internet broke. In the months that followed, the pair kept climbing to new heights in their separate worlds. Swift released her 15th Billboard 200 #1 album, The Life of a Showgirl, in October 2025, moving more than 4 million equivalent album units in its first week alone. Kelce, meanwhile, signed on for his 14th season with the Kansas City Chiefs. Throughout this time, the couple's inner circle kept remarkably quiet. Kelce's mother, Donna Kelce, was approached by a photographer at LAX and asked about the wedding preparations. She simply said she was happy for them and left it at that. Travis's sister-in-law, Kylie Kelce, married to his brother Jason, made a plea on her own podcast asking listeners to stop expecting wedding details from her. Even George Kittle and his wife Claire, confirmed guests, told a reporter they genuinely didn't know if the venue was Madison Square Garden. When George asked Kelce directly, he said Kelce just laughed at him. The story really started weeks earlier. A steady stream of 18-wheelers rolled through the city, quietly unloading supplies at the arena. No one knew what was inside. Guests themselves were kept in the dark. The invitations they received were watermarked, and no one could get through the door without signing a non-disclosure agreement. Phones were banned at the entrance. The venue was wrapped in a 180-foot tent, as if hiding a secret from the rest of the world. 135 police officers and private security teams stood guard around the perimeter, and surrounding streets were closed to traffic. Outside, thousands of fans waited for hours. No one knew what was happening inside, but everyone sensed something was coming. The first concrete clue about the timing actually surfaced a day before the event. According to a city permit obtained by the Associated Press, the ceremony was scheduled to begin at 5 p.m., with celebrations expected to run until 4 a.m. The same document showed a pre-party for 100 guests starting at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, which turned out to be the rehearsal dinner. The rehearsal dinner itself took place the night before the wedding at the Infosys Theatre inside Madison Square Garden. That night, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce took the stage together and performed their favorite rock song as a surprise duet. But the evening wasn't without a hiccup. According to TMZ, a man behaving erratically outside the rehearsal dinner caused enough of a commotion that NYPD officers had to escort him away. When guests stepped inside, the sight that greeted them made Madison Square Garden unrecognizable. The floors, walls, and ceiling were all draped in peach and white fabric. Right at the entrance, guests walked through a photo tunnel. Massive, year-by-year photos of Taylor and Travis growing up lined the walls, from childhood to the present day. At the end of the tunnel waited the real surprise: the secret garden. 4 trees, real flowers, and 15 rows of about 75 chairs each. One guest later described the scene as strangely intimate and small, despite the roughly 1,000 people in attendance. The person officiating the ceremony was someone few would have guessed: comedian Adam Sandler. There were no bridesmaids or groomsmen at this wedding. Instead, Taylor's brother Austin Swift stood by her side as man of honor, while Travis's brother and podcast co-host Jason Kelce served as best man. The couple wrote their own vows, read from gold-covered books, each taking about 20 minutes. Taylor's vows even included a brief moment of singing. But the most touching detail of the night was this: where everyone expected the bride to be the one in tears, it was actually the groom who cried the most. The moment they said, "I do," giant screens outside Madison Square Garden lit up with the message, "Just anti-married." The crowd erupted, and the news spread around the world within seconds. According to TMZ, Adam Sandler didn't just officiate, he also performed an original song he'd written for the newlyweds. Camera crews spotted outside the venue after the ceremony also raised questions about whether the night would be released as a documentary, though no official statement was made on the matter. Jonathan Anderson, creative director of Christian Dior Haute Couture, designed custom looks for both the bride and groom. The shoes were made by Christian Louboutin, and the bride's jewelry came from Cartier. Every detail felt like it had stepped out of a fashion house's most exclusive collection. The guest list read like a highlight reel of film and music: Ed Sheeran, Bradley Cooper, Gigi Hadid, Zoe Kravitz, Ethan Hawke, Hugh Grant, Camila Cabello, Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg. The names went on. the world of sports was represented too, with Tom Brady, coach Andy Reid, and others in attendance. As the night went on, the performers were legends in their own right. Paul McCartney and Stevie Nicks both took the stage. Guests played arcade games, and there was even a raffle featuring the same model of car the couple rode in on their first date. Food came from the couple's favorite New York restaurants, served buffet style rather than a formal sit down dinner, and reportedly, there weren't quite enough seats for everyone. As the night wound down, every guest was sent home with a small memento, ivory handkerchiefs embroidered with the initials TNT. Stitched below was a line from one of Taylor's older songs, a line about forever. The handkerchiefs also carried the wedding's date and city, a small but lasting memory of the night. A few days after the wedding, Travis's mother, Donna Kelsey, spoke about the night for the first time in an interview posted to Macy's official Instagram account. She didn't go into detail, but briefly described the evening as magical. In the same interview, she shared memories of 4th of July celebrations past, recalling taking her sons Travis and Jason to watch fireworks in Euclid, Ohio when they were young. Behind all the spectacle, one quiet gesture stood out. Before the wedding, the couple donated a combined $26 million to 20 different charities. Amid all the glamour, it was one of the details people talked about least. And one final detail adds an unexpected color to the whole story. Before the wedding, Prince William and Kate Middleton reportedly met privately with the couple. For a brief moment, a pop culture legend and a royal story quietly crossed paths. What happened at Madison Square Garden that night wasn't just the marriage of two celebrities. It was a woman who had sung about forever for years, finally saying a real I do, not on a stage, but in her own life. And maybe that's exactly why the whole world couldn't look away from the three words glowing on that marquee, just and T married, but perhaps meant the most.